film Bird Box begins with a woman named Mallory speaking to her frightened children. Their house is completely covered, with all windows and doors blocked. Mallory warns her children not to look outside. "I'm going to cover your eyes so you don't see the outside world," she says. Then blindfolds both her children and herself. She picks up a box containing birds, which can sense the presence of the mysterious creature outside. Using a rope she had tied to her house, she guides them to the edge of a stream where a boat is tied up. The three of them get into the boat, keeping their eyes closed. Mallory navigates the boat downstream. The scene shifts to 3 years earlier. Mallory, an artist, is expecting a baby soon. She spends most of her time at home. While she is painting, her friend visits and urges her to watch the news about a virus causing people to commit suicide. Mallory is aware of the virus's deadly impact, but dismisses it, thinking the deaths might be natural. Later, she visits her doctor, who assures her that her baby is healthy and due soon. As Mallory leaves, she sees a woman violently banging her head against a glass window, seemingly trying to kill herself. This sight frightens Mallory. She gets into a car with her friend and realizes the virus has spread to their country, causing people to kill themselves in various horrific ways. On their way home, Mallory's friend notices something strange. Her eyes and expression change, showing fear and panic. She starts driving erratically, leading to a car accident. She then steps out and walks into the path of an oncoming vehicle, committing suicide. Mallory is devastated by the loss of her friend. As Mallory stands there in shock, a woman invites her inside her house. However, this woman's eyes also begin to change. She gets into a burning car, which leads to her death. A man named Tom arrives and helps Mallory into a nearby house. Inside, there are other people. Tom instructs everyone to close all doors and windows and to keep their eyes covered to avoid seeing the outside. Among the group is another pregnant woman who looks very distressed. The story shifts back to the present, a day after Mallory left her house. She has brought along some essential supplies and food. When speaking to her children or doing tasks, Mallory covers her face with a sheet after removing her blindfold. During this time, she hears a man's voice nearby. He is not wearing a blindfold and tries to persuade them to remove theirs. Mallory senses danger and starts shooting in his direction. When he gets close to their boat and attempts to remove her blindfold, she manages to stab him, killing him. They then continue their journey. The story then returns to the past, to the house where Mallory has been staying for a month. During this time, many people outside have died. With several people living in the house, their food supplies are running low. They were anxious about their survival and discussed ways to get food from outside while keeping their eyes closed. The house owner mentioned that they had CCTV cameras around the house. He suggested that they could use the cameras without any harm. Everyone agreed to try it out. The house owner volunteered to be the first to test it. They tied him to a chair and set up the camera feed. At first, he saw nothing unusual on the screen, but then his expression changed as he saw the creature. He fell, hitting his head hard on the ground in an attempt to kill himself. The group realized that seeing the creature, whether directly or through the cameras, was dangerous. Despite this, they needed to get food from the grocery store. They covered the car's rear camera and all its windows to avoid seeing outside. Using the GPS to navigate, they kept their eyes covered. Upon reaching the store, they had to uncover their eyes to find the items they needed. Carefully, they gathered enough supplies to last for many days and returned home. Back at the house, a boy and a girl decided to go to the grocery store themselves to get more food. Meanwhile, both Mallory and another woman were close to giving birth. Suddenly, a man started banging loudly on their door. The man outside begged to be let in. Most of the group wanted to help him, except for an old man who feared he might be infected. Once inside, they checked him for signs of infection. The man explained that he had been living in another house before it was taken over by people from a mental hospital. These people were unaffected by the creature because their minds couldn't process it the same way. They forced others to remove their blindfolds, leading to mass suicides. he managed to escape and find his way to them. Feeling sorry for him, they let him stay. Meanwhile, both Mallory and another pregnant woman were about to give birth. They moved to the upper floor for safety, leaving the newcomer downstairs. However, his behavior grew suspicious. He had some strange sketches and revealed that he was a patient from the mental hospital. While everyone was upstairs, he began to open the doors and windows. Upstairs, Mallory gave birth to a son, and the other woman had a daughter. The man then came upstairs and opened the window to their room. An old woman tried to stop him, but he forced her to look outside, causing her to commit suicide. The woman who had just given birth to a daughter also ended her life. The man then turned his attention to Mallory, intending to kill her. At that moment, Tom intervened and killed the man. In the aftermath, only Tom, Mallory, and the two newborn children remained in the house. Tom and Mallory took on the role of parents, caring for the children and living with extreme caution. They kept reminding their children never to remove their blindfolds. They had ropes tied to their house and to themselves so they could find their way back easily when venturing outside. The group of escaped mental patients who sought to kill them still posed a threat. When they needed food, they used the ropes to navigate to nearby houses for supplies. They had been surviving this way for 5 years. One day, they heard the voice of a mental patient outside, but managed to stay hidden. Later, they heard someone on the radio claiming to be part of a larger group with plenty of food. He provided an address and invited them to collect anything they needed. Tom looked at a map and thought they could reach this place by following the stream. He started building a boat for the journey. Mallory was skeptical, fearing it could be a trap set by the mental patients. She questioned why anyone would help when resources were so scarce. Desperate for food and medicine, Tom and Mallory decided to go out. They were soon confronted by some of the mental patients, who attempted to kill them. Tom told Mallory to go back inside and take the children to the boat if he didn't return soon. He reminded her to head to the location mentioned on the radio if necessary. Tom fought fiercely, but the mental patients managed to remove his blindfold. Though he managed to shoot them, the creature appeared. Tom accidentally saw it and his eyes began to change. Unable to resist, he shot himself. This was a heartbreaking moment. Mallory waited, and when it became clear that Tom was not coming back, she began explaining to her children what they needed to do, mirroring the scene from the beginning of the story. The scene shifts back to Mallory and her children as they navigate the river. They spot the man who had tried to kill them. He is still alive and unblindfolded. Their journey is grueling, lasting 2 days with dwindling food supplies. Suddenly, a storm strikes, causing the river to become dangerously turbulent. Mallory checks the map under a sheet and realizes they are close to their destination, but the most treacherous part of the river lies ahead. The boat capsizes in the raging waters and the children are thrown into the river. Mallory listens for their voices and manages to pull them back into the boat. They finally reach a forest and begin walking. Remembering the man on the radio mentioned having many birds, Mallory follows the sound of birds. However, they start hearing the eerie noises of the creatures. Mallory runs, stumbles, and loses her children momentarily, but eventually finds them and continues their trek. Reaching their destination is extremely challenging, but they persevere. Mallory knocks on a door, and they are invited inside. The people inside check to see if they are sane, then remove their blindfolds to confirm their eyes are normal. Once cleared, Mallory and her children are welcomed into the community. Inside, Mallory discovers a haven filled with normal people, plants, and trees. It turns out to be a school for the blind, which has remained safe because the inhabitants cannot see the creatures. The children are overjoyed to see other kids and the greenery for the first time. Mallory and her children begin to settle into this new, safe environment, finally finding a sense of peace and normalcy. The movie concludes with this hopeful scene. Thank you for watching.